Picture this. You sit down at an expensive restaurant. The chef brings out your meal, and there's a non-zero chance it'll paralyze your lungs and kill you within hours. Most people would call this a lawsuit. The Japanese call it Tuesday night dinner. Welcome to the world of Fugu, where culinary excellence meets Russian roulette, except the gun is a fish and 5 of the 6 chambers are also loaded. Fugu is a pufferfish, and it contains enough tetrodotoxin to kill 30 adults. That's not 30 small adults or 30 sick adults. 30 regular, healthy humans could split one fish and all die together like the world's worst potluck. The poison is 1,200 times deadlier than cyanide. To put that in perspective, cyanide is what spy movies use when they need someone dead immediately. Tetrodotoxin looked at cyanide and said, "Hold my sake." Here's where it gets fun. There's no antidote. None. Zero. If you eat the wrong part of this fish, modern medicine throws up its hands and wishes you luck. Your only hope is that doctors can keep you breathing with machines until the poison works its way out of your system. It's like playing medical whack-a-mole, except the mole is your respiratory system and the hammer is pure concentrated death. The poison blocks sodium channels in your nerves. If that sounds technical, here's the simple version. Your brain loses the ability to tell your muscles what to do. First, your lips tingle. Cute, right? Like you kissed someone with Pop Rocks. Then your tongue goes numb. Still manageable. Then your arms and legs stop working. Less cute. Then your diaphragm gives up and you stop breathing. Definitely not cute. But here's the truly terrifying part. Your brain stays completely awake and aware during all of this. You're conscious while your body shuts down piece by piece. Imagine being trapped inside a meat prison that's slowly powering off while you're screaming internally. It's like watching your own snuff film from the inside. The poison doesn't even have the courtesy to knock you unconscious first. Death takes anywhere from 20 minutes to 8 hours. That's a massive window of maybe you'll live, maybe you won't, that makes playing the lottery look like a safe investment strategy. You're basically speedrunning death while hoping someone can artificially breathe for you long enough that the poison gets bored and leaves. Medical science in this scenario is just aggressive life support with extra steps. So, now here's the question. Why would anyone eat this? Why would any rational human being look at a fish that contains military-grade neurotoxin and think, yes, I'll have that for dinner? The answer is because humans are spectacularly stupid when it comes to status symbols. Fugu has been a delicacy in Japan for thousands of years. People literally risk death to flex about eating fancy fish. The Japanese have records of fugu poisoning going back to the Jomon period, which was about 14,000 years ago. That means for 14,000 years, humans have known this fish can kill you, and for 14,000 years, they've kept eating it anyway. Evolution should have weeded these people out. Instead, they made it a cultural tradition. This is peak humanity. During certain periods, eating fugu was actually banned in Japan. The government looked at the death toll and said maybe we should stop this. But bans didn't stick because people really wanted their poisoned fish. It's like if someone made heroin illegal but people protested because it's part of our heritage. Eventually, authorities gave up on prohibition and decided regulation was the lesser evil. Here's how they regulated it. They made chefs train for years before they're legally allowed to serve fugu. And when we say years, we mean it. In Tokyo, you need at least 2 years of apprenticeship and then you take a test. The test has a written portion about toxicology and a practical where you actually prepare the fish. The pass rate hovers around 35%. 2/3 of applicants fail the "please don't kill people" exam. Let's think about that. You spend 2 years learning to cut fish, and then you've got a 1 in 3 chance of passing the test. That's worse odds than most law schools. And if you fail, you can't practice fugu prep. You've just spent 2 years of your life learning to do something you're not allowed to do. It's like training to be an astronaut and then failing the "don't be afraid of heights" portion. The chefs who do pass are basically surgical specialists of the seafood world. They know exactly where the poison is. In fugu, the deadly parts are the liver, ovaries, eyes, and skin. Different species of pufferfish have poison in different places, and some parts are way more toxic than others. A chef needs to know all of this by heart because consulting notes mid-prep is frowned upon when human lives are at stake. The preparation is absurdly precise. Chefs make cuts that separate safe flesh from toxic organs with millimeter accuracy. One wrong move and you've contaminated the entire fish with enough poison to devastate a small dinner party. It's like defusing a bomb, except the bomb is also dinner and people expect it to taste good. The pressure is intense. Fugu chefs in high-end restaurants make the process into performance art. They slice the fish so thin you can see through it. They arrange it in elaborate patterns on the plate. They're not just trying to avoid killing you, they're trying to make death look pretty on a ceramic dish. It's culinary peacocking with a side of potential manslaughter. The fish itself tastes fairly mild. People describe it as subtle, delicate, slightly chewy. That's it. You're not eating fugu for explosive flavor. You're eating it because it might explode you. The appeal is entirely in the danger. It's the original extreme sport, except instead of jumping out of planes, you're aggressively eating seafood. Some chefs leave just a tiny amount of poison in the meat deliberately. Not enough to kill you, but enough to make your lips tingle and your mouth go slightly numb. This is considered a feature, not a bug. People pay extra for this. They want that little tingle that says you're dancing with death, baby. It's like seasoning your food with low-level nerve damage. Here's a fun fact. In Japan, the emperor is forbidden from eating fugu. Not because he's too important, because the government realized that having your symbolic head of state die from poisoned fish is bad optics. The Imperial Household Agency took one look at the track record and said absolutely not. Even in a culture that embraces fugu, someone drew the line at Royal Russian Roulette. Despite all the training and regulation, people still die. Every year, several people in Japan get poisoned by fugu. Most survive because they make it to hospitals in time. Some don't. The mortality rate has dropped dramatically since licensing became mandatory, but it hasn't hit zero. It probably never will, because humans are persistent in their pursuit of stupid. Here's the kicker. Most deaths don't happen in restaurants. They happen at home. Some genius decides they're going to catch and prepare their own fugu. Maybe they watched a YouTube video, maybe they think they're smarter than the statistics. They're wrong. Home preparation of fugu accounts for the majority of serious poisonings. Turns out, professionals exist for a reason. Fishermen who catch fugu know exactly what they're handling. They wear thick gloves because even touching the toxic parts can be dangerous if you've got cuts on your hands. They treat these fish with the respect you'd give a loaded gun. Then they sell them to people who turn them into appetizers. The circle of life is weird in Japan. The poison serves an obvious purpose for the fish. Don't eat me. It's the aquatic equivalent of painting yourself neon yellow and hissing. Pufferfish don't make tetrodotoxin themselves. They get it from bacteria in their diet. In controlled environments with different food, they grow up poison-free. But wild fugu are toxic time bombs, and that's what people want to eat. Some restaurants in Japan have tanks of live fugu swimming around. Customers can pick which fish dies for their dinner. It's like choosing your own lobster, except the lobster can kill you even after it's dead. The whole setup feels like a dare disguised as a dining experience. I bet you won't eat that. Watch me. The price matches the risk. A full fugu meal at a nice restaurant can cost hundreds of dollars. You're paying for expertise, for the license, for the knowledge that someone spent years learning to not murder you with seafood. It's expensive insurance against a dinner that fights back from beyond the grave. Fugu has become such a cultural icon that it appears in art, literature, and even company names. There are fugu festivals. There are fugu mascots. Japan has fully embraced the deadly fish as part of its identity. Other countries have national animals like eagles or lions. Japan has a fish that can kill you if you look at it wrong. The international community has mixed feelings about fugu. Some countries ban its import entirely. Others allow it, but only from licensed Japanese sources. America lets you eat fugu in certain restaurants with proper permits because freedom includes the freedom to make terrible decisions. The FDA is involved, which means someone in a government office has the job title Pufferfish Poison Inspector. Scientists have studied tetrodotoxin extensively because anything that deadly is useful for research. They've looked into using it for pain management. In extremely controlled, tiny doses, it might block pain signals. The dosing window between helps with pain and you're dead is incredibly narrow, but researchers are optimistic. Nothing says medical breakthrough like weaponizing fish poison. The fact that fugu culture exists at all is a testament to human stubbornness. We found something that kills us and decided to make it fancy. We created elaborate rituals around it. We turned potential death into an art form. Most species, when confronted with something poisonous, learn to avoid it. Humans looked at it and said, "But what if we made it expensive?" There's something deeply absurd about sitting in a quiet restaurant, eating paper-thin slices of fish, knowing that someone trained for years specifically to not kill you with this meal. The whole experience is wrapped in ceremony and tradition, but underneath it all, you're just eating something that wants you dead. The fish didn't consent to being delicious, it consented to being dangerous. Humans just decided that was close enough. So the next time someone tells you they're a picky eater, remember there are people in Japan who willingly eat paralysis fish for fun. The next time you think your life lacks excitement, remember you could be eating something that contains no antidote and hoping your chef passed the test. The next time someone says you only live once, remind them that's especially true if you eat improperly prepared fugu. In the end, fugu represents something uniquely human, our ability to take unnecessary risks for absolutely no practical reason except bragging rights and cultural tradition. We've conquered diseases, split atoms, and put people on the moon, and we still can't resist eating a fish that's basically aquatic murder in a pretty package. That's the human condition.